More FPL. Today I want to discuss some of the big talking points with Game Week 1 fast approaching. Mo Salah or No Salah, Son vs KDB, Haaland vs Kane, and the best 8 million midfielder. The best sub 8 million midfielder, Trent or No Trent, James v Chilwell, and the best 5 million defender. I discussed the 3 most popular picks in each position in my video, linked here. So first, let's discuss whether you should own Salah in your draft, Mo Salah or No Salah. It feels like every season we see a debate over this in pre-season, with people having doubts. He's obviously the most expensive player in the game, a 4 million more than Son and KDB. The reason is he's been consistently one of the top point scorers every year, since 17-18. Last year was no different, and he narrowly edged out Heung-min Son by 7 points. It's true that he scored more points in the first half of last season, and tailed off a bit in the second. But his expected data was still strong, and I expect that to continue into next season. Liverpool only faced Man United and Chelsea away from last season's top 6 in the opening 8 fixtures. In my opinion, if KDB and Son were a bit cheaper, there may be a decision to be made. But as it is, especially with those early fixtures, Salah is a lock in my team, barring fitness issues. Next, let's look at Son vs KDB, either instead of Salah, or a second or even third premium. Comparing the two players, Son got 62 more points in just over 800 more minutes. Minutes per point was close, with Son on 11.7 and KDB slightly ahead on 11.2. KDB missed a fair amount of the early part of the season, but had a really strong finish. Man City have the better opening 8 fixtures and a strong captaincy shout in Game Weeks 2 and 5. Spurs still have a good opening 8 fixtures though, and a strong captaincy shout in Game Weeks 3 and 6. Game Week 3 is where Salah faces Man United, so you may want a Spurs asset to cover that week. In my opinion, it's really tough to choose between them, and either could outscore the other. They're both likely to start all games in the opening period before the Champions League starts. Next, let's look at Kane vs Haaland as a second or even third premium, or you could even have both. The same arguments around the opening 8 fixtures obviously still apply here. Kane had a very slow start and didn't really start scoring regularly until just before Christmas. The rumour move to Man City that obviously never materialised in the end clearly affected him. But even so, with a strong end to the season, he was still top point scoring forward. Haaland, on the other hand, is an unknown quantity in the Premier League after joining City from Dortmund. His numbers have been amazing wherever he's been, and you expect that to continue for the champions. One concern is if he needs time to adapt to the Premier League and Man City. Another is his injury record, which is patchy and has been the subject of pre-season press conferences. I'm really torn between which of these two to have as my second premium alongside Salah. I'd like Haaland, especially with that Bournemouth fixture in Game Week 2, but if in doubt, I'll go Kane. More FPL. Next, who's the best 8 million midfielder? In my opinion, it's between Luis Diaz and Bukayo Saka. Diaz is some way down the scoring charts from last season, but of course only joined in January. He's on 15 minutes per point ahead of Saka on 16.6 minutes over the whole season. Both should start most games, but I think Saka is probably a bit more nailed in the Arsenal team. Arsenal had the best opening 8 fixtures, but Liverpool are a better team and have amazing XG. It's pretty close, but for my team, I prefer Robertson to Diaz, which rules him out as an option. I'm also tripled up on Arsenal, but it feels easier to sacrifice Zinchenko or Martinelli than the Liverpool guys. Other notable players in this bracket are Mount, Kulusevski and Foden or Mahrez, if they get enough minutes. Maddison is good, but they have a tough opening 8 fixtures, and likewise Bowen at $500,000 more. Next, who's the best sub 8 million midfielder? In my opinion, it's Grealish and Martinelli at their price point. Coutinho is the most popular option, but they have a tough opening 8 fixtures overall. Likewise Bruno Guimaraes, as they faced Man City and Liverpool in the opening 8 fixtures. Martinelli should be the first choice on the left and could be good value, more so than Odegaard I think. Sancho is now to start on the right and has good pre-season form, but how will United start the season? Rashford has looked pretty good at 1 million less, but has competition from Elanga and also Martial if Ronaldo stays. Bernardo is a solid option, but I think Grealish could have a good season. He should get more minutes at least. Neto should prove good value if he can stay fit. Wolves had 5 good fixtures in the first 8. More FPL. Next, let's discuss whether you should own Trent Alexander-Arnold in your draft. He was a top point scoring defender and 3rd top point scoring player overall last season. In my opinion, with their early fixtures, a Liverpool triple up is highly advisable. If you don't want double defence like me, then maybe you look at Trent versus Robertson. It's true that Robertson did finish the season stronger than Trent in terms of goals and assists. But I think Trent's worth the extra $500,000 with more set-piece responsibilities, increasing his attacking threat. Next, let's discuss James versus Chilwell in terms of security of starts and attacking threat. James you'd think is more nailed due to his ability to play as a centre-back in a 3. Chilwell probably has more competition at wing-back, as Alonso is more natural there than Azpilicueta. They both missed a significant amount of last season through injury, James featuring more than Chilwell. James has been more injury prone in general, missing 14 games per season on average, to 11 for Chilwell. It's a very close call between the two of them, but I slightly favour James, if not going both. Finally, who's the best 5 million defender pick? In my opinion, it's between Zinchenko and Walker. Cash and Trippier are popular picks, but have tough opening 8 fixtures, as mentioned. Gabriel got 5 goals last year and had good fixtures, but will he be nailed with Saliba's return? Likewise, Zinchenko with Tierney injured, and can also play in midfield once he's back. If Cucurella moves to City as expected, that rules him and Walker out as options, in my opinion. If he doesn't, then Walker's a cheap way into that defence if he has better luck with injuries. You may have noticed that I've often talked about the opening 8 fixtures for each team. That ties in with my first wildcard strategy, which I discuss in a video linked here. You may also be interested in my top tips for a successful season video, also linked here. I discussed the 3 best budget picks in each position in the video linked here. I'll be doing another draft video at some point, but here's my initial draft, also linked here. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Which way are you leaning on the Game Week 1 big talking points I've discussed here? Add your own thoughts and questions in the comments and I'll try to get through as many as I can. Never miss a pre-season video or game week preview by subscribing and turning on notifications. More FPL.